kind of help the process along. I know they say you don't have to rinse your dishes with modern dishwashers, but I still do it. I think you should still rinse your dishes, right? Just my 2 cents. You do what feels best for you, I guess. This one still has a little bit of. Okay, so how is your day going? I love to clean. I woke up and I was like, oh, I need to get back on my cleaning routine because the minute my house is not perfectly clean, I feel like, no. Like, I could have slept longer, but I'm like, no, I can't believe I went to bed with dishes in my sink. I can't do that. I just can't. But I mean, sometimes I just get really tired because I'm doing things like working and doing other things at night. But I just have to keep up on my cleaning routine. Now, I don't run my dishwasher every day. Some people do all their dishes by hand every day. But I love having a dishwasher because it sanitizes them. So I just rinse off my dishes and I put them in the dishwasher. And then once it's completely full, which might be one time a week, but I make sure they're nice and rinsed off before they're in here. Like one time a week, once it's completely full, then I run it. Now, when my sister used to live with me, I think we ran it more often just because she was home all the time and she used more dishes. Some people they don't love dishwashers, but I do. I wash my pans by hand though because I feel like, I don't really think that the dishwasher is a place to wash pans, in my little opinion. I would not wash pans in the dishwasher, But I don't know, some people do that, but I do wash pans by hand just because I think you can scrub them a bit better. And the thing I hate about when people do dishes by hand that always drives me buggy is why do they have to have like their dishes just sitting out permanently on their counter? Like for me, just like have a towel, let them dry, and then when they're done, put them away. I'm just like, I don't like that. It's not my thing. I just remember that was something when I was a kid I always kind of hate because it doesn't feel clean. Some people think that's really clean. Oh, aren't you cute? So guess what? Bye. Like, find something better to do with your life, friend. Like, I would love to be somebody who writes comments like that. Like, something's wrong. Something's very wrong. When somebody, like this guy was, oh man. I'm like, what a weirdo. Like, I don't know what's going on though. And I'm not going to play into your hatred. I'm sorry that some people think that being Americans, being a hateful person, that being American is like wanting to deport people who prop up our economy, you little clumper. Like, yeah, so I'm like, you know what? No, bye. Like, literally. I think it's a bot, and I think like it's like those losers over in Beaumont. They're on the freeway overpass with these signs talking about how they want to deport people, and I'm like, you know what? Get a flip flop life, and yeah, I love these cats, and really like they're hypocrites. Hypocrite. Ooh, let's go down the deep dive of American history. Did you know during World War II, even the U.S. government was promoting undocumented workers? Because guess what? With the war, you had women that were working in the factories, but you needed even more labor. So they were promoting having people from Mexico and Central American countries come up here and work. And then after that, there was this horrible, kind of racist, something called, it's horrible, they called it Project Wetback. Look this up, where they actually promoted, facilitated undocumented workers coming into this country to work. And Republicans, all these people right now who pretend like they're so against undocumented workers, including Trump. Did you know Trump hired many undocumented workers? There's an article from 2018 about his maid that was an undocumented worker. So I don't even want to get into that, but you can't even just do like any kind of video these days, like a thank you, I appreciate you. You can't even just do a nice, like any topic without them like being somewhere. It's like a bot, but anyway, whatever. I'm like, they're hypocrites. Like in the 80s, it was an open secret that all the businessmen hired undocumented people, and the whole agricultural industry, mostly undocumented workers, hotels, resorts, all sorts of places. Many people are undocumented, and it's always been like that. And they're not criminals. They're people that do jobs that Americans don't want to do, because these are very low-paying jobs, and I hate to say it. I mean, there are, you know how we know these things? Because my sister used to work in those jobs, okay? Thank you, I appreciate you. My sister, like, worked in housekeeping. We knew these things, okay? And they said, wow, like, you actually, like, they were impressed that my sister actually came to do a job that the average American feels like they wouldn't want to do because it's housekeeping. And I hate to say it, it's very classist. There's this classist mentality and this whole, like, oh, we're deporting the criminals, but not all those people that got deported were criminals. And it's just like saying, oh, look at us, like blaming Biden for crime and saying more people came in. Trump, you lied. You lied, Trumpy Wumpy. You lied, Republicans, business people who have always hired undocumented workers. You've lied through the teeth. But, you know, I don't care, because for them, they have to have a bot and everything's political. They're political bots, you know? It's sad. I'm just like, okay. Thank you for liking my artwork, though, because I'm just over it. Like, if your whole personality is, like, simping for Trump or thinking about Trump all day, maybe you need to have your own life and your own hobbies. And I do wonder about these people, like, their whole life is about Trump. Like, gosh, I'm not a fan of Trump. Didn't vote for Trump. But there's no politician. There's no politician that I've ever simped for like that. And I think America's great. I'm sorry for you people who don't believe in America and don't love America and didn't see her beauty. And as my dad being a vet, how dare you guys? Because people that serve in the military, they're tired of you. Like the real ones. We love our country. We know our country is great. I love living in California. Sorry that you are like maligning our country, like all these people that think, oh, it's going to be better now that there's like this person who doesn't really believe in the American system of check and balances, that just glorifies himself, doesn't have the U.S. Constitution on the White House website. What's up with that? Where is it? Because I looked today, somebody said, they asked, like on a TikTok video, they said, have they restored a link to the U.S. Constitution on the White House GOV website? And I looked and I'm like, it's not there anymore. It's like some bragging post about Donald Trump. And other presidents never did that. George Bush didn't do that. Obama didn't do that. Reagan definitely didn't do that. Reagan, you know, he actually was like, even though he was conservative, he was very much a unifier. And if you listen to like his speeches when there were tragedies versus I don't know. But you know, you follow your little guys, you want to make a bot writing things like that. It tells me everything I need to know about you guys. Anyway, you can't escape it. I try to escape it. It's Joshua tree. You know, I love Joshua trees. I have this picture of a Joshua tree. You know, there were land developers, and I know some people are going to be like, the Joshua trees are out there in Southern California. There were developers that wanted to go into all these lands where there are Joshua trees, and they wanted to build, like, mining. And you think there's no mining there? Oh, yes. There's a big giant mine at the base of Big Bear Mountain, and yes, some mines might be essential. It's the Mitsubishi mine. So yes, there's mines, and people think, oh, there's no mines. Like, oh, the companies don't want to develop all the land. Yeah, they do. They don't care about the environment. And some people are like, oh, but there will always be checks and balances. I think our system's great now. I don't understand the people that don't love our country. And the people right now that I feel like don't love our country are the ones that are constantly criticizing us, that are criticizing Americans. I think, unpopular opinion, the people who don't like how our country functions, maybe they should move somewhere else. Instead of like saying, make America great again. America was always great. I'm just telling you, don't fall for the baloney. I'm not falling for it. So you want to send a little bot to my channel about writing really weird stuff like that? It also tells you a lot about his supporters. I'm like, ooh. Those are the people that support you. It's the same people with the signs over there in Beaumont on a freeway overpass. They're there every day now, apparently. And I wasn't even interested in this until a few days before the election. I guess 3 days before the election, they were there with signs that said it's payback time. Okay, and I was like, payback for what? And now they're there with signs talking about how they want to deport people. Although a lot of them probably hired undocumented people. You raging hypocrites. Raging. And the more I look into all this, the more I learn and learn and learn. Like all the things that they say that they're really against and that they make their platforms about, it makes perfect sense. Look up Elon Musk and his child that transitioned, because apparently he has a daughter. Well, she became his daughter. She used to be his son, and he claims he didn't know he was signing some sort of paperwork for her to take hormones, and this is why he's into this whole, like, I don't even think these were the biggest issues in the country, but now you know why Trump made that such a big issue, because ooh, who was his big backer? Elon Musk. And this is a very personal thing for Musk. So if you look into it, like all of their issues when they talk about like America first, somebody hurt them, like in their personal life, something happened to them, and they're just being cruel and hypocritical. And yeah, when you start looking into all these things, you'll find out more about why people are so loud. Like when they talk about, oh, they're so against this policy, this legislation, and those aren't the real issues. Housing and just being kind to each other and a good wage and promoting American businesses without tariffs, without imposing tariffs, because that's free trade's better than all this tariff malarkey. Being a good neighbor, treating our allies with respect, all that good stuff. You know, Biden was probably too old to be president, but so is Trump. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. So, you know, these little bots run around YouTube posting their stuff. Whatever. I do like draw and paint though. And we wouldn't even have Joshua Tree if it weren't for people that wanted to preserve land for trees and a whole national park system, which was started by Teddy Roosevelt, who was a Republican, by the way. Like, Republicans used to be big environmentalists. Yes. Like, did you know Gerald Ford, a Republican president, was a big promoter of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. Eisenhower, Another Republican president was a big promoter of creating a national highway system. A lot of federal things are not bad. They've made our country better. They've created the robust, beautiful country we have, and I celebrate America and her beauty. So the next time somebody tells you something saying that America's not good and needs to be made better, look up history. History will tell you the answer every time. There was a party in the 1850s called the Know Nothing Party, a very fascist, a very xenophobic party. So basically, they didn't like Catholic people. They didn't want minority people. They only wanted white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant people to live in the United States. So these things, they kind of regenerate themselves in cycles. And some people are going to be like, oh, but Trump's not like that. He's not like that. He supports everybody. Like, it doesn't matter your nationality. Well, really? Okay. Here's the thing. There's a lot of European people, white people, that aren't documented in the U.S. And they have money, okay? Or they come to the U.S. and it's much easier for them to get a visa than, let's say, a poor person. Because if you have money, I mean, you could be a minority person too, but it's all about money and classism. It's not equal. And I know this is like the new biggest issue, but if you're gonna make this the new biggest issue, then you have to acknowledge that you used undocumented workers yourself. Yeah, Trump and all Republicans and every single Republican, they hired undocumented workers, all of them. This was a big issue in the 2010 governor election when the Republican said that, oh, she was against undocumented workers. Oh, well, this is so embarrassing. She had hired undocumented people to work in her house. And she was wanting to talk about, like, illegal immigration. And they love to call people illegal, not undocumented. They love to call them illegal. But a lot of European people are in the U.S., white people that are not documented. And there were other people from other ethnicities, but they have money and they have connections. And if they get caught, they might get deported, but you're not going to hear as much about it right now. It's like, oh, it's a whole bunch of people that were in this one, like, working in a store, and I don't know. These are just not the issues, but they love to create the division, man. And anybody that sits on a freeway overpass with the signs, just saying something that doesn't make you feel good. And yes, making people feel good is important. I know, like, that's really popular. Like, some people they want to be brash and they just want to say whatever pops in their head. But that is not cool. You know why I stopped doing a live stream with somebody? And I've talked about this before, but I'm ready to go all in on it. I had thought for a long time, I just didn't want to do the live stream anymore, just because it was just too demanding and it wasn't convenient. But I have more to say about this. I have so much more to say about this. So this person that I used to do a live stream with, she doesn't seem like, she's not confrontational. She's not combative. She's not like Trump, where she's saying things that are like real, real triggering. But she had a lot of these same opinions, and I always knew that all along. I knew all along because we used to blog on the site together. But she deep down believed, and this is something I knew because we did this live stream once, and it bothered me to my core. It bothered me to my core. She wanted to go back to this system. Like, she said she was all for, like, I don't believe she's racist. I don't believe that at all. I know she's not. But she's very classist. She's into, like, people that have more money. She believes that people that have more money have more rights. She believes that. Like, we even did this live stream together, and I just felt so wrong about it at the time. She was basically saying that really only property owners should vote, because that's how it was written out in the original Constitution. And some of these people, and these are the Trumpies, They think we should go back to a constitution without any amendments. Because the original constitution was very flawed. We still had slavery in this country, okay? But there's some people that support them. They might think that's a good idea. Maybe not everybody, but you know that there are some supporters. They might not want to go that far. But yeah, there are some of them. And this is a more hot take, more extreme take. They believe only people with property should vote. And I don't agree with that at all. I think everybody that's a citizen of this country has a right to vote per the amendments to our Constitution, because our Constitution being amended is what makes it stronger and better. And the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship. I believe in all that. I believe in the American way. I'm so sorry that we have a group of people right now who are running around acting like our checks and balances and all the amendments to our Constitution that gave women the right to vote, gave all ethnicities the right to vote, that gave everybody the right to citizenship. Because in this country, a lot of ethnic groups couldn't even have citizenship until the 20th century, okay? And, okay, so some people, they're not racist, okay? They're just classist, which is kind of concerning in itself. But they're also kind of sexist because they think, oh, if a woman gets married, she doesn't have a vote. Her husband votes for her. And you can say that, so then they want to create a society where only the people with property can vote. Nobody else can vote. So we all live in this country together, but because they own property, they have more of a voice than you. And I always was, and I tried for a long time, but I knew we just did not think eye to eye. And she's more low-key, okay? But she wasn't nice to me. She wasn't nice to me, but she had these views, and yeah. And a lot of people, like, with these type of views, they're coming out of the woodwork because something about progress brings these, this is, I like history. I love history. I'm not going to apologize for talking about politics anymore. I love history. So I won't apologize for talking about it anymore. So every time there's like an uptick in right-wing conservative movements, it's usually a response to more progressive movements. And I'm not even like a raging liberal, like, right? There's a lot of things that are on the left that I'm not a super fan of. I consider myself more centrist, really. Like, I don't even consider myself like a feminist. Like, that might surprise people. I consider myself a humanist, and I think both men and women deserve rights. But I think everybody should be treated equal. And this is the thing that I just don't get on board with the Donald Trump supporters. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them want to go back to a system where people can only vote if they own property. And then the next level is that they think only a married man should vote for a family, and that women shouldn't vote. And that leaves a lot of people out, okay? There's just some people, they want to go back to this very, very... So I think America's a beautiful country, but I believe that we change over time. And I was always of the school of thought that the Constitution is a living document, that it was a great idea. I think this idea of America, it's based a lot on Magna Carta and English common law, too. We have to give credit where credit's due. A lot of our common law is still English, okay? But things change over time. I do not feel that our government should look the way that it did in 1790. It's okay to amend it. But at the same token, we need to follow precedent. We can't have like this dysfunctional government where we don't know from day to day what a president's doing. And there's checks and balances. You can't just overturn congressional legislation willy-nilly. I mean, right now you might, but it gets all political and people are very certain about the politics. So, but this is the one thing that this election taught me, that anybody who treats a politician like a god or a celebrity, they need a reality check. And they should ask themselves, like, why are they doing that? And we should always want to protect people like the less fortunate in our society. I know that's not popular. And that was another thing that me and that person I used to do the live stream with, I realized that the conflicts I had with that person, they always boiled down to that this person is a representation of what conservative America wants. They always have felt like America was lacking in something. They didn't see her beauty. They don't see beauty and strength and progress and progression. And I always believe that there is beauty and strength and progress and progression. They hate public education. I think public education is beautiful, and I think it's so right that we have public education. You know why public education is essential? Because without public education, some people wouldn't be able to go to school. And the whole public education system has been a hallmark of American progression. And if you're against public education, I think you're classist. And, I know some people are like, oh, proud of it, but I tend to believe that we should treat people as a democratic system where everybody has a voice, everybody's equal. I don't want to live in some nostalgic world where we don't give people rights, where some people can't vote. So this is the truth. Like, there are some people who think some Americans are not entitled to voting because they don't own property and they don't own land, and they might be married and their husband should make decisions for them. Where's this all going? And I hate to say it, every day I'm like, I want to be away from politics. I want to be away from politics. But here's the problem. I think things were actually a lot better under Biden than people realize. I know people are like, oh, it's so bad right now. Like, it was so bad and it's going to be so good now. Well, are things cheaper at the grocery store? No. Are things going to be cheaper in the stores? Oh, no. Tariff time. And a lot of these, like, big supporters of, I think even Rand Paul was kind of criticizing Trump and his tariffs. I mean, Rand Paul's total free trade. If you are a free trade person of any kind, Trump has never been free trade. Why were you supporting him? Oh, this is what it is. This is what it boils down to. There's a lot of people, they don't like progress. They don't like change. But rather than just focus on their own plate, lane, and life, and I believe in that. Like, that was something that really came into focus. Rather than focus on their own plate, lane, and life, they want to legislate how everybody else lives. And I would be doing lives about topics just about hair. So I have a hair channel. And I would have, like, these weirdos come on my channel, and they would start just trying to make my, like, dialogue and discussion about some political thing. So you can try and stay away from this, and some people are very good at it. Some people are very good at it, but I guess I'm just a little too real about it. I hate to say it. You cannot completely stay away from it, but we can definitely poke fun of it. Can you imagine making a bot to go around YouTube? And if that's not a bot and you were just a person writing those kind of comments, like, what is going on in your mind? Because I know this is an American person, okay? It is. I got up early. It's 7:23 here in the morning. So on the East Coast, it's 10:30 in the morning. So that's probably an unemployed person. Like, are they angry about something? Like, what they wrote was pretty crazy. But yeah, is that the vibe? It didn't pass the vibe check. I guess I couldn't have talked about this, but I feel like I have to talk about this because there are channels that cater to this. There's a whole dialogue right now. Elon Musk just went and threw money at some European right-wing group. For some reason, this happens in history. Every time you have a little bit of progress, you have a right-wing, like, kind of clap back at it. And then there's, like, this myth or this propaganda that's propagated about how people have become less intelligent than in the past, and how people used to somehow be more intelligent in Laura Ingalls' time, which is actually not accurate. I was talking to my friend the other day whose daughter is in elementary school at a California distinguished school, and the kids are learning algebra in 2nd grade. There's STEM programs, like, and they might have, like, memorized a lot of facts and certain things back in the 1800s, but there's certain types of sophisticated educational processes they were not even learning back then. Like, I do believe there's even progress in education. Of course, there's always going to be people who don't take school seriously, but anybody who says, oh, like, and this is something that used to be lobbed on me, and I feel like I wish I would have been this person 15 years ago. I feel like I was just too sensitive, and I was the sensitive one, and they always like prey on somebody that they see as sensitive, and I kind of see this conservative alt-right backlash as a narcissist. It's like a narcissist, and they prey on people who are empathetic because they need empathy. So, you know, you don't even have to be a raging liberal, because I'm not. But you have to kind of acknowledge that something's going wrong when everything's going so far right. And another thing, Elon Musk, he's breaking our Constitution every day. I don't think I think that it's not constitutionally valid that somebody could be that in charge. And I know Mark Rubio might say, oh no, I'm actually in charge of the U.S. aid. But is he? I don't know. Like, just some of the things that are going on, there is a lack of checks and balances. And I was reading some news articles about it. Not all Republicans agree with what he's doing. Okay? I think maybe it's interesting because Jimmy Carter had to give up his peanut farm to be president of the United States. But now we have a multi-billionaire in, like, basically he's not even an officially appointed position, because you used to have to get your positions appointed by Congress. Like, you couldn't just be like, oh, I'm going to get all... And now he just has this position that's never been around before, and he gets to create... Something's not right, and it's not 100% constitutional. So we could go online and Google these things together. I don't want to make my channel about this. Other people will do that for you. But just keep in mind, every time you hear somebody say something that's kind of negative, that's saying something bad about their fellow Americans, I'm seeing it more on the conservative side now. I know they like to say, oh, the liberals do this more. I'm seeing conservatives do it more. And that's questionable, and that's kind of sad. Why don't you love your fellow Americans? Start loving your fellow Americans. Start being an American. Stop living for a politician. But what can I tell you? You can just spend your day writing comments like that. It's really sad. It's very sad. It's very questionable. I just don't, whatever, who knows? We live in an interesting world. Interesting times, and there's people that just love to spread all sorts of nonsense on the internet. Just maybe don't do it. If you feel compelled to go make a sign criticizing someone, to go, I get like protesting because you're worried about your relatives being deported. That I get, but just making a sign talking about how you hate people, I don't know. I'm not making signs of any kind. I'm not going to any kind of protest. I'm not into that because it's a very social thing, by the way. I'm just the introvert commenting on these things. But yeah, interesting times. Stop being so political. It's not good for you. Anyway, speaking about art, I do want to do some art. I know I've been saying that. I mean, I might start, but I feel like I need to maybe do some other things this morning. I need to finish washing these pans, for one. So yeah, we live in interesting times. But I love America. America's a good place. I think our system's been running great. I think now, with the new presidency, that is questionable. But I don't understand all the people that don't love our country. And if you really don't love our country so much, maybe you should, because it tends to be people, and it's not always rich people. Sometimes it's just poor people that think, oh my gosh, like the price of eggs went up, which, by the way, the FDA controls that. Oh, guess who's president now? Shouldn't eggs be $1.99 again? Oh, there's also something called an avian flu. Like, so lost supply and demand. The president's not gonna like make eggs cheaper sites. I'm a vegan. I don't care about eggs. Did you care about all the little baby male chicks that were killed for your eggs? No? Nobody thinks about that. They just want their eggs, man, because you know, they keep hens to lay eggs and they crush up little baby male chicks. And you think the egg industry is some pristine, beautiful industry? I don't know. There's a lot of things I'm just like, I couldn't get on board with. It's just like, there's always these issues like, oh, this is why we need to vote for this person. And I'm like, okay. So I'm done. You have your bots, you have your fun. Ooh, here's a tip. I know it's not Christmas anymore, but if I have cute little holders, I just put my soap in these, and it's so cute. I love it. That was a hand soap holder. Then I have this one. It's just like, it's losing some of its little sparkly things, but it's still cute. I could always redecorate it. I like having soap in one of these holders because it's more aesthetic and it's more fun to use. Plus, it has a pump and it's easier to get it out. Like when you're doing dishes, you can just pump it in. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching. Bye.